press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello my dear students. We had started with a new chapter, that is constitutional design, right? How constitutional design, how it is done, why it is necessary, what makes a nation to have a constitution, wherein we were studying about South Africa, right? Do remember, this is not there for your exam, okay, your final exam, that was not there. But this is with the knowledge point of view I am doing because it is related. You have to understand how difficult it is to make the constitution. It is not at all an easy task. Okay, it is not at all a easy task. It needs much more. How people do struggle to have constitution. I want you people to know about this. That's the reason I have taken up the topic, but do remember it is not there for your exam, okay, but even then there is no harm in studying the same, okay. So let me start with this. Yesterday we did discuss about Nelson Mandela, right? With that, we did discuss how Nelson Mandela did struggle because there was the apartheid system wherein there was a discrimination between the blacks and the whites. So you could see there was a very huge discrimination between the colored people, the white people, the Europeans who had occupied, who had evaded South Africa just for the sake of companies and work. They started bringing the discrimination, they started discriminating among the people there, which was again a problem to the country. The country did face so many problems because each and everything was totally different. They were treated very differently. Okay, they were treated very different. So there was separate thing for each and everything. They had this separate, including the washroom, like public toilets, even that was separate for the blacks and whites. They did not enjoy the equal rights as of the whites here. That is the reason they started revolting this. Okay, they started revolting the thing that had happened. They started revolting what was going on here. So they said that we do not want this kind of system. We really do not want that kind of system wherein we are discriminated, every person feels that they have to be treated equally and alike, right? And if that is not happening, definitely they will be facing the problem there. So that's the reason they said that they started revolting against the system. They started revolting against the system saying, we want equality, we want equal treatment. So how this happened? When I said towards a new constitution, so that means definitely they got their constitution, new constitution, but how? Was it an easy task? Was it an easy task? Whether that was, whether they could do it in a perfect manner? How did they do it? What made them win this? Okay, so let us know about the things here in a brief manner. So with the increase, with the increase of struggle, that is to remove of the apartheid system, there was a revolt, right? They started struggling. They wanted the system, the discrimination system to be removed, from the base itself. They wanted that to be removed. The government realized that blacks they could not be kept as slave. The government, nothing but the white people, they became the rulers there, right? They had come for the sake of company or say job and all, and they started ruling the nation, and now they were treating the other people, that is the blacks, very bad. Okay, so with the increase of struggle, so they wanted to remove this apartheid system. We could see that the government started realizing that these people will not keep quiet. So now the white changed certain policies. No doubt they tried changing certain policies that repealed this, and nothing but they repealed the discrimination laws. Okay, they tried removing the discrimination laws, but other way, what did they do? No doubt this was to some extent they did repeal it. But the other side, what did they do? They did ban on political rights and even on medias. So now how to raise voice? See, if any person feels that yes, his rights are violated, or he has faced some discrimination somewhere, somehow or somewhere, he has to raise his voice, right? And if that has to be done, then definitely they have to, they have to work there. Now, if at all that itself has been banned, then how the voice can be reached towards the government? So again, the revolt still did remain. Okay, there was a new national flag. See, once Nelson Mandela got released, okay, he was imprisoned for almost 28 years, as I told you yesterday. Like that was a very long time. He did stay in jail, or say he was imprisoned. Okay, prison. He was in prison. So now Nelson Mandela, he got released, and that is where a new national flag of the Republic of South Africa was unfurled, which marked newly born democracy. So this unfurling of the flag, okay, when they unfurled the flag of South Africa, that gave birth, or that made them realize that yes, this is the newly born democracy. Okay, that was the sign of newly born democracy, and that was made realized by, or the realization was because of Nelson Mandela itself, because he was the very important person for removing this apartheid system. So this was one thing. Then multiracial government came into existence with an end of apartheid system. Finally, they removed the apartheid system. Okay, they totally brought an end for this apartheid system. So then the black leaders, okay, the black leaders said that, what did they say? They said other people, nothing but the blacks, saying that let us not again fight with the whites. Do remember, blacks were in majority there. They could have revolted against the whites, they could have fought, they could have created a huge mess. But the black leaders, including Nelson Mandela, they said that they appealed, or they asked the fellow blacks to forgive the whites for what they have done till day, nothing but the apartheid system, wherein they were tortured like anything. They were looked as though they are the blacks do not have any value. The way they were treated, to be forgiven and to like have a unity there. The atrocities, the cruel act done by the whites, that is the discrimination thing what they had done. Okay, they said that let us forgive them and let us build a new South Africa. Let us build a new clean South Africa on the basis of equality of all races, democratic value, social justice and human rights. So on the basis of equality, on the basis of equality, on the basis of democratic values, or say social justice and human rights, so let us build a new South Africa. So they decided this. So how nice, you see, right? How about we people? We fight with our people itself, right? So that should not be done. So they said that let us not fight. Okay, let us forgive the atrocities. See, cruel act, such a cruel act itself was forgiven, was asked to be forgiven. And these black people, though they were in majority, they too relieved, or say they too did realize that yes, we should form one government, we should have a good, or say clean South Africa, so let us forgive them. So there were two parties, as you all know, that is the brutally treated people or brutally killed, okay, that led to the freedom struggle. So the one who brutally killed people, okay, nothing but the whites, and that who led the freedom struggle, nothing but these whites. So like both blacks and whites, they came together, they sat together to get a new constitution, to frame a new constitution, to design new constitution. Both of them sat there. Now what all happened? Let's see. The constitution gave most important and extensive right to its citizens. So now the constitution was coming into existence. Okay, they were planning for the constitution. So what kind of rights they were planning? Extensive, very important and extensive, nothing but extensive, like there is no bound as such. Okay, that kind of rights were given, and no one should be excluded. Rich, poor, white, black, nothing as such. No single person should be excluded or treated, okay, as demon, so that they solve the problems between them. So no person, demon, no person could be treated as a devil here, or say some kind of a person who is of no use, or there should not be any inequality. Okay, like it should not be unequal. You should not treat people unequal, or say you should not maintain this inequality there. Each and every person should be treated equally. Okay, so that is what they came up with, and this is actually has been impressive, don't you think? It is impressive, right? Because all the democratic nations started thinking about this. How nicely they are solving, sitting together, they are trying to solve the problem between them. So this became the model of democracy. You see, model, okay, the model. We keep telling, right, a role model, you should be the role model. What is that? Seeing you, other people should learn from you, right? So here, model of democracy, the constitution, what they were creating, that became the model of democracy. So the determination of people of South, how was that possible? It is because of the determination the South Africans had. Okay, they did work together. It is not about only one person who did contribute or credit. We Indians, we always want credit, right? So it is not about taking credit. It's not about one, like a group of people. It is about each and every citizen who did work together to get to this constitution for themselves, to transform the bitter experience and to bring a good rainbow colors, nothing but to come up with a good nature. Rainbow, rainbow, right? You enjoy it, right? You enjoy the colors, right? You feel happy as soon as you see the nature, the rainbow, right? You feel happy. Anybody would feel that. So here also they did the same thing. They tried to remove the bitterness. They tried to remove the bitterness they had, so that they can bring the colors into it. They can bring the colors for themselves, okay, for their constitution. So why is it necessary then? Okay, why? Why do we need the constitution? Do you think is it important? Yes. Do you think is it very good, or is it helping each other? See, the oppressor and oppressed planned to live together as equals, but it was not easy to trust each other. This usually happens, right? Imagine whites have treated the blacks very kind of animals. They have treated them as though they do not have any value. How can you trust such person? And these people, they want constitution, they want to maintain the unity, right? So is it possible? Will that be helpful? So see, they always think about safeguarding their interest. Every person wants that. Their interest should be safeguarded, and even it should be given importance. So that is what happened here. The oppressed and the oppressor, though they came up or they united just for the sake of getting a better constitution, but even then they couldn't trust each other. Okay, they couldn't trust each other, because of which they wanted their interest to be safeguarded. And apart from that, what happened? Blacks wanted democratic principle should not be compromised here. So democracy, nothing but people should not be ignored. Anything related to people should not be, it should not be ignored. It should not be like they have to hold, they should not compromise at any cost. Whatever rules and regulations you are doing, it should not be against the democracy, or it should not compromise with any of the principles of democracy. So that is what they wanted, and they wanted all the substantial social and economic rights. So social, okay, something related to society, socialistic, okay, and with that even economic rights they wanted. How about whites? They wanted their assets, or say their privileges and property to be totally safe. So these were the interests. You see, blacks wanted their interest, nothing but what was their interest? The democratic principle should not be ignored, nothing but people should not be ignored, their interest should not be ignored. And whites, their privileges, the extra, extra rights, or say privileges are nothing but the extra right, or a kind of it's a kind of more importance given to them. Okay, so that should not be taken away by the blacks because they were in majority. Apart from that, even they had the fear of losing the property. So they came up with an agreement here. We can say that they came up with an agreement. That is, there was a negotiation to compromise here. How did they compromise? They decided that one person, one vote. Whosoever it is, whether it is white, black, does not matter. Let us go with the majority rule. Let us, have this majority, or say major this rule. So one person, one vote. So majority rule was applicable, though it was not absolute. They said like if you are considering majority rule and whites were less in number, so it was like if you consider this, it was absolute. So whites agreed for rights for poor and even weaker section. Whosoever were weak, okay, weaker, or say workers and even the poor people, okay, weaker section of the society, and the workers, both they concentrated upon. They said that let us make rights even for these people, keeping in mind all these people. And blacks promised. What was the promise done by the blacks? They promised that your properties will not be touched. We will not touch any of the properties that belongs to the white people. We will not touch the property that is related to you people. Do not worry about that. Okay, we see that we will not touch your properties, will not take up any properties here. So now, as I told you, democracy, it is like the South African democracy, it is very impressive in nature. And yes, apart from that, what they say is here, how this can be implemented. No doubt they compromise, they thought of compromising. Then how that will be done? So they came up with a game here, game of rules. See, no doubt compromising or talking is easy. You do right, I'll do this, I'll do that. But at the end of the day, you do nothing. You end up doing nothing. So in the same way, let's compromise is better, is good. But in actual, getting compromised goes very difficult. So the same thing happened here, but there was a solution for that. Okay, Africans, they did work very well to get a solution. That is, they came up with a game of rules to build trust here. How to build trust then? See, building trust with each and every person is very, very important, and that is what the South Africans did here. How the ruler shall be chosen. The game here played was related to the ruler. Okay, ruler. Because if the leader is good, the nation will be excellent. Because the leader always unites people rather than divide them and rule. No divide and rule policy with the leader if the leader is very good. That's the reason they came up with a game called as game of rulers. So now very first question was how to choose these rulers. In what way the rulers will be chosen? In India we know that the election will be conducted and we choose the rulers. So that was again the question. They were making provisions related to this. So how the ruler shall be chosen? What all rulers will be empowered to do? Nothing but what are his powers, what are his rights, duties, etc. and what he should not do, even that has to be mentioned. It is not only about what he will be doing. It is not that you will be mentioning only what he will be doing, but with that you have to even mention what not to do. So even the rules decided the rights of citizen. The game of rules even decided the rights of the citizen, because citizens are very much important and their rights are much more important. Okay, the rights are much more important. So these rules work if winner cannot come, change them easily. So whosoever wins, whether white or the black, whosoever wins, but the rules have to be worked in a right manner. So Africans did the same and they agreed for this basic rules, and these rules were considered supreme, sovereign. So whatever game of rule they came up with, that is why do we need, under that, what did they do? They came up with a game of rules, which was so very, very nice, very, very, that has to be accepted in such a manner they had come up with. So Africans did the same and everybody accepted that. Then the formation of constitution, as you all know, is not easy task. Now they were stepping into forming the constitution. Do you think so? Making Indian constitution was very easy? Definitely not. Imagine 2 years, 11 months, 8 days. It took almost such a long period. So imagine how difficult it could have been to get the constitution into existence, right? Yes. So that was very difficult to be brought. So formation of constitution is not easy because of the difference of opinion. You know very well. Forget about constitution. At least in your class, to decide about something, there will be so many difference of opinion. One says A, the other will say B, or maybe they may come up with some other thing itself, right? So this much of difficulty to cover up something or to decide about something in a small class of 30 or 40 students or even 60 students, right? Imagine of the nation, it's about crores together, billion, people are there. Think about those things, the taking decision about that was so difficult, right? Here also same thing, constitution, to frame constitution, it was so very, very difficult because of the difference of opinion and difference of interest. Decide about, again democratic principle. They have to keep in mind the democratic principles because they cannot go against the democratic principles. So that was again the important thing there. It is not about only one thing. It is not about only, maybe the difference of opinion can be compromised. Because each and every person cannot be satisfied here. Each and every person cannot be, kept happy. But we can make sure that we can keep or we can respect the democratic principles. So that is what was expected. Let us know what is constitution now. So constitution is an important law. See, it is the law of land we can consider. Okay, it is the law of land. Nothing but constitution holds all other laws. It is very, very important. It has got much more importance at every stage. Whatever it is, whenever you feel that yes, something is, some differences we could see, if you check the constitution, you can find the solution for that. So constitution is the base of all other laws. It is an important law and a body of fundamental principle or established precedent according to which a state or organization has to be governed. How a state has to be governed, how it has to be ruled, how it has to be taken care of, what welfare thing we have to plan for, how a state or a place can be improved. When these things has to be decided, we should have a constitution there. So that is very, very important. So it is an important law, a body of fundamental principle, important principle, very, very, like basic thing which is so very much important. Moola we say, tumma important, very important. Okay, so those things, and which has to be like precedent. Precedent is like previously decided things or previously that has taken place, according to which a state or organization is to be governed. And it is a written rule, okay, or you can consider constitution as a written rule that is accepted by all. It is a written rule that is accepted by all people living together in a country. So it is a written, or few countries they do not have even a written constitution. So it is a set of rule we can consider, wherein each and every person belonging to that nation has to accept it and abide by the rules and regulation. It gives the relationship between the people, or say among people, how they have to live in a country, in a territory, okay, how they have to live in a territory, or it even tells the relationship between people and the government. So how the relationship, how they have to be with the people and the government. So this is the reason, like constitution gives the relationship between people and government, okay, or say among the people how we have to be. When I say about fundamental rights and all, it is given to the people, nothing but the citizens, right? So the relations between the people, there we mention about the relation between people. And when we say people and the government, so there are certain powers, rights, duties which are being given. So that decides, so that shows the relationship between these two things, okay. So that is where the constitution has come into existence. Now let us know what actually the constitution does, okay. Why is it important and what actually it does? Very first is, it helps to make rules for the nation. See what happens, imagine if there are no rules and regulations for you people, will you have, no doubt you enjoy it, but again there will not be any restriction, right? So with rights, now when constitution has given rights, with that there is a restriction amounting to like wherein they have put up with fundamental duties. But yes, it helps to make rules, okay, that is there definitely. So the constitution makes rules which is very much important, and each and every citizen should abide by those rules and regulation. The second one is, it states the ideals of the citizen. What actually the citizen needs, ideals, what do they think, what they want, what are the principles they want to follow, all these things that has been mentioned in the constitution. It specifies how government will be constituted. See, every person, every citizen feels that whenever a government comes into existence, they should govern us, they should guide us in so and so manner. So the constitution has given, or it gives, how government should be governed, or say what all work it has to do, okay, how it has to work, how it can, the powers, okay, to take a decision, the powers, what all powers are given to the government to take decision. It generates a degree of trust and coordination, you see, trust and coordination. Why this is necessary? See, trust between the state and the people, or say the citizen, is important. Trust between the government is important. Trust between people is very much important, and that can be created only by the establishment of constitution. If constitution is there, definitely it can build trust. Okay, so that is another important thing. It specifies or lays the limits on the power of the government. See what happens if all the power is given to the government, there are chances that the government may misuse it. So that's the reason again a restriction has been put. Only power has not been given, but restrictions are put so that they will work properly. As I told you, the rulers cannot do whatever they want. This is what the rights of citizens are. So whenever government does not work well, even there are writs, okay, mentioned under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so we can question the government. Why? That rights are being given by the Constitution itself. So the citizens have got rights there, fundamental rights, what we say, for a better future of the country, for the better future. We have, it's not about today or just tomorrow, it is even about the future, how a country has to work. For the better future, we need constitution. If the basic law is good, all the other laws can emerge excellent, they can work excellent. So that is the reason constitution is very much important. Then expresses the aspiration of the people to create good society. For creating a better society or creating a good society, we need constitution. So all countries that have constituencies, or see, when I say democratic, only because if at all they have constitution does not mean they are following the democracy or they are not a democratic country. Only because they have constitution, we cannot say that they are democratic nation. But yes, those which are democratic nation, okay, those which are like having this democratic nation or say democratic country, definitely they have got the constitution. So did you understand the difference? Only because a nation has got constitution does not mean it is having a democratic nation. Okay, it is not a democratic nation, but all the democratic nation will definitely have a constitution. So let us wind up here. Okay, the next topic is making of the Indian Constitution. So that is all about South African Constitution. I wanted you people to know the difficulty that was felt, okay, how difficult it was to bring the constitution into existence. Now you will understand Indian Constitution very easily, because making of Indian Constitution also had or also faced so many differences. There were so many differences of opinion. They too came up with many difficulties. So now you can understand it in a better manner. So today we will discuss everything about South Africa, how South African Constitution became a model, okay, or say model of democracy we can say. So today's topic I have concluded. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and yes, if you have any doubts, please let me know about it. Okay, thank you.